Alright guys, so today I wanted to talk about an updated build for Bunny. With all the new bunnies coming in from the Boost Up event, I figured this would be a great time to update our old bunny build. Now realistically, not a lot has changed from the last build to this build, but we did want to really double down on her EC and make sure that you could use that even more out on the plains. With just how tanky those enemies are, a lot of you guys will enjoy this slight tweak as it will make Bunny feel that much better out on the plains. But having said all that guys, let's go ahead and hop into the video. Alright guys, so when it comes to the weapon that you're going to be carrying in Bunny's hand, the weapon I like to carry is actually the Peacemaker. Now the reason we like this is because of the weapon's high inherent base move speed. Because of that, I only realistically need one sprint speed core on here to get Bunny to the sprint speed cap. Outside of that, I will go ahead and slap on 2 grappling cores just to make sure she gets 100% uptime on her grapple in case you want to do just a little bit of Spider Bunny or a little bit of grappling tech. Outside of that, the rest of the cores and the roll in this weapon do not matter because you will not be firing this weapon on Bunny. This is just going to be the weapon you carry in your hand that allows you to run around really quickly. Now when it comes to your secondary weapon, I would actually suggest you go ahead and put on a Last Dagger. This is a great weapon that we use on a lot of our enemies just to help them burn out bosses when it comes to the end of the match or anytime champions show up. For the cores on this, I would go ahead and put 1 chill attack, 2 firearm attack, 1 fire rate, and 1 rounds per mag. When it comes to the roll down bottom, I'd actually go with firearm attack, chill attack, firearm critical hit damage, and instead of the multi-hit chance, go ahead and put critical hit rate on there because it will synergize a little bit better with the base weapon and with how it plays on Bunny. For the mods on the weapon, I would go something like this. I do think this is a good all-around build for this weapon. We're going to get a lot of base damage. We're going to get some more critical hit rate and critical hit damage. We're going to finish that off with a little bit of weak point because you should be aiming at weak points with this gun. And then the last couple things we tack on are going to be firing Fiesta, which gives us really nice burst windows. And then we're going to build just a little bit into that chill attack just to help this weapon do a little bit more damage. The chill attack is something that we typically use for Void 10, but you can leave it on here for the plains and it will do just as well out there. Now when it comes to the reactor on Bunny, I actually like a fusion reactor over a singular reactor. And the main reason I like that is for the extra damage that we're going to be getting on her EC because that's going to be where her big spike damage comes from. Now, for the optimized conditions on here, we only have hand cannon, but realistically, if you can swing it, you will want to put both hand cannon and handgun on here. That way you're not actually losing money when you switch out to your handgun to do your burnouts, but still use your EC for those big spike damage windows. For the roll down bottom, I actually like cooldown right now, and the reason I like it is because it's going to give us as much possible uptime as we can get on Bunny's 4, and that is our big damage dealer, so we really do like that. And then we're going to finish it off with a bit of fusion skill power boost ratio, just add a little bit more damage to her 4. When it comes to her components, we do like the 2-piece Ascending Armory and the 2-piece Hunter set here. I like the little bit of cost reduction, which is going to make it much easier to keep our 3 up, as this isn't a bionic bunny build, and the Hunter set's going to give us just a little bit more cooldown, which again is going to go for us spamming our 4 just a little bit later on in the build. When it comes to the cores and the rolls on this, I would go ahead and pick up what you see on the screen now. These are going to help with just your general survivability as well as making the build feel a little bit more playable with all the extra MP. So for the inversion reinforcement, these are the nodes that I would actually suggest you pick up for this build. We like focus boost because as you're killing enemies, it's going to reduce the cost of your skills, and that's going to let you stay in them a little bit longer. Selective neurostimulation is another one that's going to help your neutral game because this is going to give you MP back at regular intervals if you're lucky. So this is another thing to keep you up and running as Bunny. The last thing I'm actually going to tack on here is going to be chill focus rounds, and the only time you're realistically going to benefit from this is at the end of match bosses, or when you're dealing with elites in the middle of the fight. Where Bunny struggles out on the plains is with those exceedingly high HP monsters, and there are going to be a few of them that you will run into. So doing what we can to make her Last Dagger hit a little bit harder and then pair that with her EC is going to be your best way to deal with these enemies, so we're really going to want to put this on the build. So when it came to the Arche tuning tree, this is actually what we went with. The big thing that I had to focus on was making sure we got that cooldown node up top. With the build that we're going to be running, we really need as much cooldown as we can get, so that limited the amount of different directions we could go when it came to our Arche tuning tree. So because of that, I opted for one that favored team play a little bit more, and that's going to put us going down and getting defense neutralization as well. Now, because I prioritized those 2 nodes, there really wasn't much that we could do, so we picked up whatever additional skill power we could, and we called this tree great. For the dog here, just go ahead and pick up the Hagios Sheepdog and call it good. This dog is going to give you just a little bit more HP, going to help you out just a little bit when it comes to dealing with Bunny and her squishiness out on the plains. We don't build a lot of our builds into having additional HP. Our whole goal with most of our builds is just being able to kill things before they kill us, so having the Hagios Sheepdog is just going to help you survive a little bit more in the harder content. So when it comes to the mods on the build, this is what we're going to be looking at. We are working on an Electric Condense build. Everything that we do on here is going to be around that mod. Now, I did mention that we were focusing on trying to get as much uptime on our 4, and that's what we're doing here. But I did not actually put a cooldown mod on our battle mod. We actually went with power increase just for the additional damage. The enemies on the plains are a little bit tankier than normal enemies, and it is nice to have a little bit more damage when it comes to your neutral game, especially with your 3. So that's why we did this. We do still have about a 5-second cooldown on our Electric Condense, which is well enough for the content we're going to be doing, as you'll see in the gameplay in the background. Outside of that, we've done everything we can to push our range out as far as we can, get our cooldown as low as we can, get our damage up as high as we can, and get our costs to be manageable. Now for this build, we did go ahead and slap on MP Collector because that is going to make it easier for you to keep 100% uptime on your 3 when you're running around in most maps. The last mod I want to talk about on here is going to be Power Beyond. With this build, because we are running a pretty low cooldown build, we are going to go ahead and slap Power Beyond here just for that flat damage increase across the board. Alright guys, now I want to talk about how to play this build, and this build is actually quite easy to play, but it is a little bit fun. The main thing you're going to want to do here is load in and hit your 2 and start running to build up a little bit of charge to where you can pop your 3. After that, you're going to run towards the enemies and do as much damage as you can. Now on something like the plains where the enemies will rush you and try to pin Bunny in, feel free to use a little bit of grappling tech here to stay just above the fray and allow yourself to move around a little bit easier and get additional procs off. Your main goal here is just to keep circling large groups of enemies and get them stacked up. Once you get these enemies stacked up, go ahead and pop your 4. The longer you let this charge up, the bigger the radius is going to be when you finally explode it. So because of that, it's going to be up to you and your playstyle. You can pop it instantly or give it a few seconds to build up just to take out even more enemies. As you play Bunny, you'll get used to how long you need to let this charge depending on the amount of enemies around you. So this is one of those things that you just have to play it to get used to. After you pop your 4, most things will be dead. If everything's not dead, go ahead and start regrouping the enemies. After you get everything regrouped, pop your 4 and just rinse and repeat on the packs of enemies that you see on the map. Now when it comes to the harder bosses, things will get a little bit different because you are not going to be doing enough damage out of your 3s and your 4s alone to take them out in a reasonable amount of time. So when those enemies pop up, feel free to swap out to your last dagger and really start hitting those weak point shots. But don't forget that you do have your 3 and your 4. You can get in close to them and start double jumping. When you come down and hit the ground, you will do a little bit of an electrical shock, which will do some damage to them. Outside of that, you can proc your 4 on cooldown just to ensure you're doing large spikes of damage. And between those and your last dagger, you should be able to dispatch them in a reasonable amount of time. And this doesn't change very much when it comes to end of match bosses. You're going to want to do the same thing, but just keep in mind that these bosses do hit quite hard, and if you are not paying attention, it is very easy for you to go down on Bunny, even with the 10k HP that you currently have. Alright guys, and that's it. That's everything you need to know about how to play our new updated Bunny build. I do have a lot of fun playing her out on the plains, and I'm hoping that this build will let you have a little bit of fun when you take her out on the plains yourself. Now, I do think that she is probably a little bit weaker than some of the other descendants that we have, and she will struggle just a little bit with the harder bosses, but I think if you really play her smart, you can still go out there and have really good success with her on the new plains. But having said all that guys, hopefully you enjoyed the video, and if you did, consider liking and subscribing for more First Descendant content, as well as other game coverage in the future. We do stream 5 days a week as well, and we would love to see you either here on YouTube or over on Twitch. But having said all that guys, thanks for watching, and as always, have a great day.